Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be solving some Zoom and audio problems for dance and music classes, specifically for Apple Macbook and desktop computers. With much of the country ordered to stay indoors due to the COVID-19 virus, many dance and music classes resorted to using Zoom to conduct their classes. However, after a few days of testing, I started hearing a lot of mixed experiences and thought it was time for me to take a deeper look into all the problems that I'm hearing and seeing. So first, let's take a look at some Zoom problems when it comes to dance and music classes. The first common problem that a lot of people ran into was when they were sharing the computer audio. Now, they would use this feature inside of Zoom specifically to get better music to their audience or their students. The problem, though, was that a lot of people started seeing what's called desync. And this happens when the video is not in sync with the audio. So when dancers or even musicians actually count off the beat, the voice does not match to what they're doing in the video. And it's usually off by a couple milliseconds or even a full second or two. The second issue is actually called auto-ducking. And auto-ducking is actually when the audio or the music is actually cutting in and out of the sound, or sometimes even when the audio is just fluctuating in volume. And this is actually due to when multiple mics are on and there's multiple sounds trying to be picked up. Well, Zoom's trying to figure out which audio is actually dominant over the other. So what can we do to actually resolve some of these issues? First, a physical USB mixer and a microphone will actually help resolve a lot of these issues. That way you're getting good, clean audio to your students and your audience. The second would be to use a Windows computer and actually use a virtual audio mixer. And in this method, you're actually doing the same thing as above, where you're actually using a physical USB mixer and microphone, but it's all virtual inside of your Windows computer. Now with the Windows computer, this virtual audio mixer is actually free. And there's others for Macs, but they are paid versions. So instead of using the paid versions, I've come up with a solution that is entirely free on a Mac. Let's go ahead and check out how we can accomplish this. The first thing that we have to do is install two different softwares. The first one is called iShowU Audio Capture. And what this does is it actually captures all the audio and sounds that's actually being pushed over to your speakers. So that way later, we'll go ahead and configure that through a mixer and actually push it over to Zoom. To install it, if you're actually on a MacBook that's using Mac OS Catalina, you want to use this link here. Any other version of Mac OS, go ahead and click on this one to download the installer. The next software can be found in your App Store. Go ahead and open your App Store and search for AudioCast and go ahead and install this. What AudioCast is an actual type of mixer that can mix all kinds of inputs and reroute them to different outputs. Now let's go ahead and configure everything to work with Zoom. First, we're going to open up what's called Audio MIDI Setup. In order to do so, open a Finder window, go to your Applications folder, and scroll down till you can see Utilities. Once inside of Utilities, go ahead and open up Audio MIDI Setup. Let's click this plus icon here on the bottom left and create multi-output device. From here, let's go ahead and check the box that says iShowU Audio Capture and uncheck the drift correction, but click the drift correction box for built-in output. Under the master device clock, make sure that iShowU Audio Capture is selected. Now let's go ahead and open up AudioCast. That should be under your Applications folder. By default, built-in microphone should already be selected, but we have to configure the main output. So let's go ahead and click this dropdown and select iShowU Audio Capture. Make sure that the main button here is selected for input 1 for your built-in microphone. Now we just have to update Zoom's audio settings to use this feature. Let's go ahead and open Zoom now. Once in Zoom, go ahead and open up the settings. And make sure that you're under the Audio tab here. Now we're going to change the microphone input and select iShowU Audio Capture. This will then capture all the sounds that are coming from your microphone and anything else that would normally come out of your speakers, including any music players that you're using. And also be careful because it can pick up any notification bells or any other sounds that your computer may pick up or hear. And that's it. Zoom is now configured to pick up any music that you're playing, whether it's Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, or any other music that you normally play through your computer speakers. Now I want to take you through some other audio settings to help better any of the other problems that may occur. First is this automatic adjust microphone volume. You can see that I've already unchecked it. And the reason why you want to uncheck it is so that Zoom doesn't try to figure out whether the volume should be higher or the volume will be lower. Next, let's go ahead and hit this advanced button here on the bottom right. Now we're going to turn off all the suppressor filters. With these suppressors on, Zoom is actually trying to knock out any kind of background noise that it could hear. And in our case, since we have music playing in the background, Zoom is wanting to actually remove all that background noise. But in a dance environment, we actually need to have our audience hear that. So let's go ahead and disable both of these features now. Under the persistent background noise, go ahead and select disable, as well as the intermittent background noise. Now you're ready to run your class. Go ahead and start class, and now your students should hear both your microphone as well as clean audio coming directly from your computer instead of speakers that your internal microphone will pick up. Now I'm going to show you how to go back to your default audio settings on your computer. You want to go ahead and do this after you end every class. First, go back to the main audio settings for Zoom and switch the microphone back to your built-in one. Now we can go ahead and close Zoom out. Next, on AudioCast, go ahead and quit this program. Don't just click on this red button here because this doesn't actually close out the program. You want to actually go up here to AudioCast and choose Quit AudioCast. Now open up Audio MIDI Setup, right-click Built-in Output, and select Use this device for sound output. You should now see a speaker icon next to built-in output. This means that your default audio settings are back to normal. Now when you're ready to start your class again, just make sure you work it in reverse. First, open up your Audio MIDI Setup, right-click on Multi-Output Device, select Use this device for a sound output. Now open up AudioCast. AudioCast already saved all the configuration from before, so just make sure that you have it running in the background. Now open Zoom and Zoom audio settings and change the microphone again to iShowU audio capture. Now you're ready to run class again. There's some additional tips for when you're using this method. First, use your volume sliders on your music player only. This method actually disables your laptop's volume buttons, so they'll be inactive. The only way to control music for your students as well as yourself is to use the volume sliders directly on Spotify or YouTube or any other music player that you're using. Simply lowering your speakers won't work either because that only lowers the volume for yourself, but not your students. Do not use your mic mute in Zoom. Muting the mic directly in Zoom actually mutes everything, including the music. And that's because we configured the microphone channel in Zoom to accept all audio that's coming from your computer, the microphone as well as the music. Remember that the internal microphone will still pick up the music from your speakers, so just make sure that your speakers are far enough away from your microphone. And last, run tests. Run a lot of tests. Run tests and make sure that everything sounds great. The best way to run an actual test is actually create a second Zoom account because you want to hear what it sounds like from your student's perspective. I hope this video helps you out, but if you need more help, follow us on Facebook and I'll have the description down below. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope your students have a better experience in your music or dance classes.